morning, everybody. So today, we talk about technology-driven solutions. Pretty much what we talked 2 years ago, and hey, Pat, can we turn this down just a tad?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how to do that. We talked 2 years ago, we kind of talked about the need to upgrade and change, and so I'm going to talk today a little bit about who we are as Austal, our partnership with SSI, because being here in town, we work closely with them on a continual basis, where we're going, where we've been basically over the last 2 years, and where we're going, and then maybe what the roadmap looks like for the future at Austal Engineering, what we've been talking about at SSI. Okay? So, who we are. Austal just had their 30th birthday, which is quite impressive to think how old this company is. We have yards in Henderson, Western Australia, Philippines, starting in Vietnam, and Mobile, Alabama. We started here in Mobile in about 1999. We're about 4,000 people strong, and today, the 5th largest shipbuilder in the United States. To think about starting from 1999 to get to this point is quite incredible. Commercially, Austal internationally is building new Fred Olsen trimarans, which the Fred Olsen trimaran is the parent to the LCS ship that we build today. They're building a new Japanese trimaran, an 80-meter vessel, and they just launched the Lowell's ferry. At Austal USA, we design and manufacture the state-of-the-art high-speed aluminum catamarans and trimarans. The module manufacturing facility we call the MMF is an area where engineering provides detailed drawings to support highly pre-outfitted modules. We use ShipConstructor to build those work packages, taking advantage of the product hierarchy in the system, being guided by discrete build strategies driven by the craft. Our future could be driven by autonomous EPS, a hospital ship, or even a frigate, which we're working on. So what technology will be required to support those designs? Will there be a digital twin? Because that's talked about all the time. What is that? I think Dennis has some great blogs on those subjects. But, you know, when we talk about digital twins, when they talk about ships in the autonomous world, they talk about the digital twin and how does that serve. When you have a guy driving a ship that's sitting in Hoboken, New Jersey, and that ship's coming from Europe to Elizabeth, New Jersey, to drop off containers, you know, that is, you know, when that ship arrives in the future, let's say 20 years from now, you'll have no one on board. But somebody has to go service that vessel. You have to go find the information to service that vessel. Where are the tech manuals? What version are you on in that tech manual? Does that match up with the equipment you have on board? What's the spares list look like? So, for Austal, this last year, we delivered 3 LCSs and 1 EPF. We launched 3 vessels, and we conducted approximately 6 PSAs, some finishing, some starting. But it's a lot of work from the design, purchase, we do concept designs, all the way to post-delivery. So you can see that, I believe we have 7 vessels today of LCS in San Diego. We have LCS 16 and 18 in Mobile. They are delivered, and they're going through post-shakedown, or excuse me, IPDA, PDA, which is the post-delivery availabilities, before it leaves with the crew. LCS 20 is getting ready for BT. LCS 22 is getting ready to launch here in a couple weeks. You can see the bow sticking out of the building. LCS 24 is half erected. LCS 26, which is the USS Mobile, is 15% complete in the shops, and 28 is in design, and also we've just started cutting. And 30 and 32 and 34 are under contract. EPF, we have 9 vessels delivered. 3 under construction. The one is actually just getting ready to depart. It's doing some modifications over at Halter right now. And we have 1 pending award. So, let's get to next. So, when I talk about this, there's a lot of volume going through engineering, a lot of information to be referenced. And when you think about the life cycle of the ship, a lot of information to find in the future to work on post-delivery ships. So also engineering. So what we do in engineering, we support production through design improvement and field support. We also are a full-service design shop where we do concept design, functional design, detail design, integrated logistics, PSA support, OEM support, because we're the provider of the ride control systems and the INCS on EPF, ride control on LCS, and possibly will be the planning yard for our ships in the future. So in support of this, we requisition all our material, manage the hub activity, manage the configuration, and track all the documentation and control its release. We track class design changes, ship offs, trial cards, drawing liens, drawing schedules, escrow reviews, civil releases, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a large volume of information that we track and manage to and to keep a project on track. In the heart of our design process, we use ShipConstructor. And we began working with ShipConstructor back in 2004. We've effectively recreated the partnership with ShipConstructor over the last 2 years. Our goal was to maximize the functionality of the 3D model through the design by understanding the system better, training our people, and doing research on what we can do next. So it's interesting because in the early 2000s, there was a lot of funding given to ShipConstructor through the National Shipbuilding Research Program, but it was considered to be a tool for the second-tier yards. And when you look at the project list of ships being designed with ShipConstructor today, they're not really second-tier yards. They're Main Street vessels for the U.S. Navy. So 2 years ago at the last users conference, we talked about regulatory upgrade. And at the time, I think I had probably 60 designers in here. And as one of the ladies came up and she introduced AutoCAD, I think we were working on AutoCAD. She was introducing us to AutoCAD 2006. She kept asking, so who's operating at 15 and who's operating at 14? And when she hit 13, she gave up because we were operating at 11. I was a little embarrassed. So just like the iOS system on your phone, you regularly upgrade and get the latest thing. Right? But it's hard to keep up with every new app that's released. And I think Barbara put a chart together. I think there's over 2 million apps available throughout it. Right? So you can keep looking for that next great thing, but you know, it's kind of challenging to keep up with everything that's new. It's all the new technology available to us today that we decide where we want to go and what we need as we define our digital thread. So we went from ShipCon 2012 to 2016 to 2018. And so going to 2016, when we did this about 2 years ago, I think we were at the user conference, we were just getting into this. So it was a tremendous undertaking. It's a major setup of software, major review of all the changes. We set designers down saying, we got to work through this. Look, does it work with our current model? And we tried out, and we tried all the features. It took all IT resources offline. And we did a major upgrade to some of our drawings. We found out that when the designers were working in 2011, a few of them cheated a little bit. So we found mistakes, we improved and fixed those things, but what we were after is the process time. And so what we found is, because our model is extremely large, had a very big structure to it, and so what we gained was the speed of the saving to improve some efficiency for the designers. Then going to 2018 was a big step. Again, wanting features that were provided in 2018, like workshare design. So it required us to upgrade to Navisworks 2018, so AutoCAD 2018, and we had to upgrade our servers in common. Once that was done, then we took on the upgrade of the model. We had a few hiccups, but it wasn't so bad because we were only 2 versions off. And we moved this year to the implementation of the electrical package in ShipConstructor. We had not done that before. Mostly electrical and space reservations for wireways and all the components. So on LCS 28, we've been working through for probably the last 9 months. We've implemented that package, and I think you heard a presentation yesterday about Cloudus, and we also moved to implement Cloudus. We were in a lot of databases in our system. So we also changed how we're managing the model. And so when we went to LCS 28, we went to a singular model to manage the information within one model. So, but more to be done. We implemented workshare design to share some work. SAI is here today. I saw them. We work with BSR, but we take sections of the model out and release it in workshare design and bring it back. And it's almost a weekly event now. And it's a non-event. We have to make sure people are out. But we had some hiccups along the way. We had to make sure that their servers matched, their versions matched of the software. And we had some lessons on how you set up. So we shared those things with our subcontractors, and we shared those with ShipConstructor for future use. So a big advancement from split and merge, which I dreaded whenever we were going to that event. So this is great. So we cleaned up our parts catalog in the process, and we trialed Task Manager and marine drafting. We had great plans for marine drafting, but we couldn't quite get there, basically for the complexity that we have with our model, with the shape, etc. And so there was a lot of tickets we put in with ShipConstructor. So we're looking forward to that in 19 as we upgrade to 19 to take advantage of that. And then Task Manager was interesting. So I'll tell you the story with Task Manager. Task Manager, I set it up, we asked for them to implement it or try it on one project. And we did it on a major modification, we called it TCR. And so when I went in to see the guys about how it's going, they were like, no, we don't like this. So what don't you like? Well, we have to organize how we're going to do this way in advance. We just kind of want to do it. So you had to go plan out all your work and the sequence and all the steps, basically, of the interchanges, whether this piece had to go through shot and then come back, and we needed certain BFI. And so it made the designers, the design leads think. And I found it to be a very good product. There are things that our guys, when we tried a couple more trials with it. And so in 19, we should get some upgrades to that we can make better use of Task Manager. So in 2019, so we'll capture those changes to marine drafting and Task Manager, and try to implement on LCS 32, which design will start in January for that. And we're working on implementing well management on 32. We're also looking at implementing CAD assessment tools. We've been working on this the last year. And for me, when I started at Austal about 4 years ago, and we were in 2011. I would have to say there was a number of designers that still had skill sets that were matched up in 2006, right? So it's a case of how do you keep your people, how do you bring in people, train them, make sure they're up to using these tools, because if we took the time to upgrade to 18, I don't need designers working with skill sets of 6. I need them to be working in skill sets of 8. And so we've set up some tools with our training department to do CAD assessment, so we understand where designers are and how we can work with them to develop. So what's next? NSRP projects. NSRP allows us to explore the possibilities of added functionality within ShipConstructor that will allow us to improve our processes. So currently we're working on a project on lift ship. I'm not sure if that's on the agenda. That will allow us to streamline our process where we can take excerpts out of the model. So for lift arrangements, so some of our structures are light, we need to analyze them, we put more and more outfit in them. We want to be able to do a finite element study, but do you want to build a mesh outside the model and do all the extra work, or do you want to be able to export it? So that's where we're working towards being able to export that. And for us also, the other benefit might be, as a Navy comes back, we have to do shock analysis. So we could export that foundation out with the mesh and do that work. It could save us time. Welder certification is a current project. We're working with Workday, which is our timekeeping system we just implemented last January. But every welder, you have to keep track of what process they use, or you have to annually update their certifications. And I know this process well because I used to be on the structural side of production. So with ShipConstructor, with weld management, you can track what procedures would be used in the module. But in timekeeping, we can track what procedures were actually used by the employee, and you can save time. Save time and money because it probably costs, the amount of people we have is probably $250,000 a year in certification costs. So to maintain those certs for all the employees. So we see this as a big win for us. So that project's currently going on. And then we've been working with SAI as a sub or prime on a handheld laser scanner project with the NSRP, which we're doing a lot of post-delivery work on LCS now, and we see that ability to be able to scan the as-built to the ship, bring that and overlay it in ShipConstructor, and then do our ship all drawings and things to be a benefit. So that's where we're hoping that will go for us. As well as firming up the ship check. This is always debated. Did you ship check that? And with the scan, you're getting the actual, and you can go back to the pictures, etc. So that's a good project. So for me, this is kind of a transition. It's kind of awkward. We kind of went through this a bit. What level of design is required? What's your return on investment? So this picture is actually the Moss Ferry coming out of our Henderson, Australia. So in the background, you can see Perth. And you can see this is on the public drive or on the internet, so you can find these pictures. But this is big stuff. This is a very large catamaran. It was taken on a year ago. It's a big challenge for the company. And so they challenged us to look at that. But I looked at the design hours of this, and it's a significant challenge. So I put that there to remind me because, what level of design is required, right? Whether it's VFI, well, functional design, we need cutting information. We relink our requirements to test. Those are the basic things. But for us, here at Austal USA, we're a high throughput yard. When you consider our delivery book, how many projects we have in process, how much information we have to get to the floor. In this yard, it's a highly skilled group of mechanics that do this work. They don't need much of a drawing to do their work. But in Austal USA, the skill set, you consider where we came from in '99, you have a lot of guys that have come in, they're fresh, new to the industry, and we need more drawings, more information to be able to do their work. So production, you have production demands, and the customer base, the Navy creates more demand for information. So that's my challenge. My other challenges in engineering are scheduling. How do we better schedule? Especially with so many items that show you all the things I track. How do you schedule that better, more real time. The coordination of activities, seeing that things move from department to department, or I should say discipline. So SHOT is a classic example of seeing that the BFI is received, the foundation is designed, the foundation is analyzed, the foundation is updated. All my new employees, it's the location of information. Where do I find it? How do I find it? Where are the references that go with it? Which goes to the currency of information, the time it takes to find the information, what are the requirements? As I say that because as we trial the ship, so when 22 goes out to deliver trials, we'll get cards. We'll always get cards from the Navy, right? So was that card received on the previous vessel? Was that card match spec requirement? Do we have to throw that card away? You know, turn it back to them and say, no, that's not the spec. You have to be able to track your requirements. Do your spec trace. Where's the reference information? Very important for post-delivery. Configuration management, control, and change implementation. So, from my opinion, we need to make it easier for the designer, easier to find information, easier to access the drawings, whether they're working drawings, which some of them kind of stash away where they think, and I find every discipline does it differently, or the issue drawings, and how do you get to those? Which we have a very good system, but when you consider the volume, and then I have people coming in, you know, LCS 8 left a couple years ago now, right? But we need to find information on it as we're in San Diego and work. So modification management is coordination of activities between the disciplines. You know, the speed of the software becomes issues for the people, and the size of the model to manage change, manage configuration, manage health activity. We need to make these processes more efficient. So there's a lot of talk about digital transformation. Things around us are changing quickly. Our phones, constantly. Cars, as they become smart, keep you in your lane, stop automatically, right? Getting to the autonomous car. Shopping. Have to buy my son. You know, he orders his groceries online. Are you kidding? No. It's easy, Dad. I just pull up the Walmart and just pop it in the car. You know, and me for my golf, I'm always downloading a new app to get my GPS and my range and keep my stats. But what we're finding this year is even the Navy's talking about digital transformation. They talk about it in ship tech. It's become a theme in some of their papers. So, you know, I'd say what's new and shiny is the next great thing, but you also can go broke chasing it, right? So you have to be very cautious. The shipbuilders are very cautious people about making a lot of change. So PLM applications are touted as the most critical tool everyone needs. PLM implementations are complex. Care must be taken to clearly define objectives that support incremental functionality through prioritized use cases. The reality of applying technology in shipbuilding, is it cost effective? What's the return on investment? What's the cost to implement? Take small steps. Take it easy, make it easy for the designer and production. With your R&D money, we need quick wins, right? So when we look at future NSRP projects, we just went in on one for PLM with ShipConstructor and a couple other yards. You know, being able to create a PLM solution that will manage the design information and become the source of truth, the place where we can go find things. We think there's a possibility to integrate that information and create that sort of truth. Virtual reality, major advances in VR technology might allow us to better collaborate with the design, with the production people, and how we can build a product and review details. And we just did that with ShipConstructor here probably 2 months ago. It might become a panel project, right, that we can try to implement. But we brought in craft guys from the floor, we took a look at it, they tried it. Sean Dover, we had a moon pool in there, and it was hilarious because he walked to the edge of that moon pool, we told him to step out, and it looked so real to him, he was extremely uncomfortable. And when I went into space, it was kind of fun because you could reach, you could touch, you could understand how things work. And for me, you could can see in the overhead, and with the welder and the production hood, you could actually see if you could get to that detail and be able to make it, right? So the VR technology is really cool, and there's some really good stuff in NSRP right now for us. It's a new venture for somebody like ED. They're trying some things with cable pull and things like that. So the other thing, we have tried a PLM, and we do that. That's our windshield tool. It's our conduit information to the Navy. But we don't own it. The Navy owns it, it's a conduit. But we tried some things in it. Hull effectivity. So for every ship, I can see what mods are assigned to a drawing, and all the way through where those mods were incorporated and what drawing is effective for what ship. We integrated everything by Swift's part structures. We created a relational database to support post-delivery and all the references for all the 40 specs we wrote. So there's a lot of good stuff that we've done, but we want something that we can own and make bigger. And with ShipConstructor, we proposed, and I think you guys are going to talk about what that project might be, but what we could see in doing with the tool, the PLM tool, and build the foundation. Must be from the print. So with that, we talk about where we might go. And for me, as we look at things like Maximo's LCS related, it manages all the PMS for the ships, where you can get your information, where all the MIPS and the MERPs kind of apply, where the CMDOA, configuration managed database information can go in, and you can find all the relational information to do your maintenance and find your spares and things like that. For your maintenance, but how do you integrate that into a baseline tool? So we have a vision where phase 2 of our PLM project might be creating some type of hull management system to support a post-delivery environment. And then being able to integrate in other CAD information. And some of the hull charts that you saw, that we look like something orbiting around the sun, are all our individual databases that we have in engineering. And my future vision would be to be able to integrate that in and find that sort of truth from PLM. I feel that's a couple years away, and we put forward these projects to see if we can get there with some research money. So, next, CAD assessment we talked about already, and what we might do with that. Questions? Nothing earth shaking. It's just kind of where we've been. I'll share the story of what we've done.
I got about 10, but I'll wait till we talk later.
We'll get you to coffee early.